Welcome back to another episode of Reddit Talks Clash. My name is Spencer, and today I'm joined with Sam and Congressman Cool Rick. Before we get to anything, I do want to start off with some Clash trivia, just for Sam and Rick and anyone in the comments too, if you want to participate.
Okay, I feel like me and Rick shouldn't look at the comments for now then, just because everyone probably
Yeah,
knows and we
if
won't.
you guys want
Yeah,
to X out those comments.
yeah. Let me close it.
There's no way I could check that though, but we're gonna
You
start off with some
just trust us.
trivia. Okay, so this trivia revolves around housing space.
Oh
Now,
Christ.
I'm sure you guys probably already memorized all the housing space in the game for all the troops. But did you know that the sub troops in the game also have a housing space, but are nowhere
Yes,
listed?
because they're for the Eagle Artillery, aren't they? To
And
determine when
for
to
springs
go
too,
off.
it would matter.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, and for the clone spell.
Oh yeah.
I want to see if you guys know what that is, what those are for each of these
Oh,
sub
your
troops.
answer is going to be no, but I'll give it a stab.
Okay, so the first one's pretty easy. Um, three of these sub troops all have the same housing space. It's skeletons, bats, and frost mites.
So one, I assume.
Yeah,
You
I'm
think
going
it's
with one
one?
as well.
Okay, yeah, all three of those are one. That was a pretty easy one.
Okay, that's good.
Now,
I'll take
moving
the
up,
middle.
lava pups and ice pups both have the same amount of housing space.
Since you're
I'm gonna
asking in a
I
different
was about to say I'm
question,
gonna go with two.
yeah, I would go. I would guess two as well.
You think two, you don't think three or four?
Well,
I
no,
would
I did
two.
say two.
Yeah, you are right. It is
Yeah.
two.
Can
All
I
right.
guess the next one?
The next one is Yeti mites. See, I thought those would be one as well, but they're not.
Yeah.
Yeti mites. You get like what 10-ish for a max Yeti. Yeah, I'm gonna say
It's not really
3.
that much. I'm gonna go with five. Screw it.
5? No way,
Oh wow,
dude.
Sam's jumping up to five.
Yeah,
Five is
I'm going
huge.
to five.
Probably
I know
too.
five
The
is
Yeti
huge,
mite
but
is 3 housing
Okay.
space.
crap.
All right, next up. Our newest troop in the game, the Super Hog Rider, it splits into two
Oh,
sub troops,
no.
the Super Hog and the Super Rider. They both do have the same housing space. What do you guys think it is?
I think it's 10.
Those have got to be 5 each.
Rick is right again. Yeah, it's 5 each. Wow.
Tuesday, I don't even know, which is bad because I use them. I actually don't know what housing space just Super Hog Riders take. So if they're 10, that is really embarrassing for
So
me.
they are 12, and
They're
then
12, right.
it splits into like basically like the hog and the rider. So I would think they're
Yeah.
more in line with like a super barb and a hog rider itself, and that's why I got 5.
All right, next up is the Golemites. So when the Golem splits into its 3 Golemites.
Oh, I'm trying to remember if they can get sprung. Well, this time I am going 10.
I think these are 15.
15. Wow, you guys both a little bit too high. A Golemite is only 6.
Really?
Huh?
Yes. All right, now there's one more left.
Oof.
The big boy from the Super Witch. What do you guys think?
Ooh, those
Ooh. Yeah, I'm going with 20.
they don't get sprung, so they got to be over 18. I think is a max spring. So it's probably 20. I don't think it would be 25, but it's 20.
Yep, you guys are both
Okay.
correct. It is 20, and that
Ding,
is
ding,
the
ding,
last
ding.
one. Nice job.
Brilliant.
And I could have swore
Rick
Golemites were
did get
15.
all those correct, except yeah, Golemites are actually 6.
That's tiny.
Yeah, I did
Oh,
think that was pretty small.
No, I guess
well,
both can hit a spring trap and both get sprung. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think it really just comes down to the clone spell. Is where most of the balancing goes for housing
I
space.
guess so, yeah. Right, well, that's some good trivia. I don't know actually who won out of me and Rick there. I think Rick.
Yeah, Rick did get 2 more.
Damn it. Well, next time. Next time.
But yeah, let's start off with our first discussion of the day. Overall, though, we've been getting 3 big quality of life related threads in the last month or two. And we're starting to think that this might be leading to a large quality of life update coming later this year. What do you guys think?
I mean, I'd be shocked if it wasn't.
Last fall was a quality of life one too, right?
Um, I think it was last summer. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was the removing troop costs, wasn't it? That was I just remember that being the headline thing, whichever update that was. Oh no, autumn was Tunnel 15, so
Yeah.
not autumn.
Yeah, Tunnel 15 was October, and then there was right before Worlds in September. They nerfed the RC a little bit, but it was like two little balance changes. Yeah, maybe it was summer.
Yeah, I think it was.
Supercell has put out like three big discussion topics recently that we're going to talk about. Little after the Town Hall 15 update, they said, "Hey, like go ask your communities and see if they have suggestions for Capitol Hall stuff and quality of life changes." They've also asked us to. Darian made a post soliciting feedback for changes to the recruiting tool for in game, and then also yesterday they put out a poll looking at options at revamping the in-game chat too. So, given those three big topics they want feedback on, I think all signs are pointing towards like a quality of life update as the next big topic.
Yeah, I mean, should we start with the first kind of threads and work our way down? In terms of the time they announce them.
Yeah, let's do it that way.
Right, so let's start with the capital and quality of life suggestions. This is just a general plea for advice here. Because it makes sense to kind of separate them out. So because the rest of this will all be quality of life, let's start with clan capital, get out of the way. So should we go through the kind of top responses we saw from that thread?
On Reddit, we posted a big thread saying, "Hey, like, what do you guys want out of the capital for future updates and as well as quality of life stuff?" So I went through that thread. It's probably a month old at this point, but I went through and I looked at all of the top responses. Like the top thing that Reddit requested for the clan capital was the ability to switch districts without backing out and going to a new one. Just kind of like the arrows on a war map, how you can go through bases like that.
I think that's just an easy yes. That should be
Absolutely.
added, and I'd be surprised if they
Yeah,
didn't.
especially I hate it too how you have to back out. Just because I want to scroll through districts and look for the cheapest upgrades possible, and it's just
Yeah,
extra clicks that all add up, and it's annoying.
what a tough life we lead.
I know. So the next top requested item was less focus on the leaderboard.
I think it's actually created a really toxic kind of problem in Clan Capital where there's this obsession with getting the most goals because you get on top of the leaderboard, and who there's a leaderboard there in theory for a reason. Who doesn't want to be at the top? But then that leads to that leads to problems where people do not want to clean up a base which has say 10% left because they just think, oh, okay, well I'm not going to get as much Clan Capital goals. I'll look worse on leaderboards. That's not great. Whereas realistically, it doesn't matter at all because it all goes to the same place. Well, in theory, unless you leave the clan. And I think I think they should just remove it. I don't know what less focus would actually entail, but I say just scrap it. You do not need a leaderboard there.
I like the idea of a leaderboard because it does encourage like competition among the clan, and like being the one who does the best is cool, and it's going to encourage people to try harder. But also, I don't know that capital gold is the way to go about it because that also incentivizes people doing crummy things like leaving 99% bases and something else. So I remember what I suggested back then was change the leaderboard to stars instead of capital gold because then cleaning up those 99% gets you a star. It's better for the clan than you getting extra capital gold somewhere else that someone is going to get and donate to the same capital eventually anyway. I would like to see changes like that.
I think this current system doesn't really work particularly well.
The next highest requested thing, rework Dragon Cliffs.
Dragon Cliffs is very healthy for clan capital. The fact that it's so unique and people don't want to attack it, that's actually really healthy. They need to kind of apply that type of situation to all the other districts so they're all unique in their own way and people have different reasons not to attack or to attack them. So yeah, I think Dragon Cliffs is actually really healthy for
Oh
clan
yeah, it's
capital.
it's cool because it's the one that you can't really get away with graveyard spell spam.
Exactly.
Like depending on the layout too, you actually have to think about what you're doing. I like it a lot. I wouldn't want to see it go the other extreme where each one requires its own special strategy, where like you're always hitting dragon cliffs with sneaky archers, or you're always hitting barbarian, whatever it is, with with a different army. The rest of them are a little smaller, but the ability to put notes and flags on districts was highly requested.
Yeah, I like that. It's kind of like that feature, like, why not add it, you know?
I know I get annoyed too, because there's a couple bozos in our clan who like I will hit a district and go and I'll make small adjustments to my army to try and finish it off, and then someone else like will snipe it and finish it off, and it's it's not the end of the world, but it is kind of annoying. So just being able to put a flag on it, even if it only lasts for 2 minutes, would be nice.
Also, we've got donate CCs from Capital Screen. That's another, yeah.
Yeah, just having to move chats to do that kind of stuff always sucks.
I mean that is a pure quality of life feature right there, isn't it? I mean that is literally you don't need it. We're all just being lazy, but it would be great. Clan Capital build a clan rank. I think that'll definitely be coming because I think Darren has indicated that they would like to do this.
The first week Clan Capital was released, there were so many posts on the subreddit asking for like a capital or clan architect role.
All right, and then so the final thing, layout links for capital. What do you guys think?
You know, I think that's great because I know a lot of clans don't like building. Same with our own bases. We kind of get them from online or from friends or whatever. But I did see someone say that it would be healthier for Clan Capital if it forced you to build your own bases. What do you guys think about that?
So I was also kind of just considering that it might, everyone will just kind of end up with the same pre-made, links that are copied, shared, spread across the internet, for weeks and weeks. But equally, that's what everyone else is doing, right? Like that is what we've got right now. We've got the bases the game gave to us. I mean, sure, some people will have tweaked them. Some people would have had some more proactive members who've tried to change the base. But 99% of the bases I hit, on each district all look the same. So
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say too. I know, like initially, I was like, I don't want shared layouts because I don't want to hit the same, like the same four bases all the time. But that's exactly what we're doing anyway. It's just we're hitting the default layout,
yeah,
we're
exactly.
hitting the Itsu layout, and that's it.
And I think the issue is that you just don't have that many people in the community who are that dedicated Clan Capital base builders. I mean, like, base builders are few and far between in general on the home village. Clan Capital base builders, I can't imagine many exist at all. And they're just having to do the painstaking thing we all had to do years ago on the home village, which is just copying, moving all the tiles.
And I wanted to add a quick last one to the Clan Capital list, and that is custom leagues. I know Builderbase just got their own leagues, so hopefully one day we could get custom capital leagues, because I know right now they just use the leagues from Home Village.
Yeah.
But I know that's not really a huge thing. I see a lot of people requesting.
Equally, so does CWL. Right, shall we move on to the quality of life features? Number one, which I think is actually my comment, I'm pretty sure, was the opting out of Legends League. I think it was quite helpful that this spread came up around the time that the Town 15 content refresh was released because I was currently sitting in Legends League, absolutely stuck, and not I wanted to farm for my heroes. I didn't want to be in Legends League, and I think I had to wait 3-4 days just sitting there, basically not attacking. I tried to sneaky goblin farm, but it's not great. Just sitting to wait out of legends, and that it's a pain in the ass, right? Any other league, you can just drop, you can kill your trophies, you can kill thousands in an hour. Legends League, you have to rely on other people attacking and taking you down, especially when you get into the lower ends of Legends. You're sitting around 5,000 to 5,100 trophies. You're not getting hit much, and then it becomes a really, really painful process. If that's Legends League. I don't know if anyone's made any convincing arguments why it shouldn't be a thing though.
It probably depends on how matchmaking works. I just really hope they get to it too, because getting out of Legends is a real pain in the butt.
What have we got next on the list? Okay, free CCs for friendly challenges or friendly wars.
It's like as far as a quality of life kind of thing goes, it would be nice. Like you're getting a free army, your heroes aren't dying.
Yeah.
You can change your entire army and save yourself 45 minutes there, but you're still affected by the 10-minute cooldown. So I don't see like a reason to require you to use a real CC for those kind of things either. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think with now raid medals and whatnot, it is much easier as well to quickly get a CC for a friendly challenge or for a friendly war. But then, once again, it's a quality of life feature. It's not actually meant to be that important. It's just meant to be nice. Uh, Carry on with the theme of friendly challenges. The next big request was for multiple chances at FCs. And I think this possibly could link into the new chat features discussion we're going to have a bit later. But once again, seems solid. What else we got? Clan alliances, right? That is a huge thing, and I think a thing that's been requested for absolutely ages.
We've been hearing about that for a decade.
Yeah, I think we'd actually require an entire pod to discuss what clan alliances could actually mean. But I don't know if anyone has some quick thoughts they want to fly off.
I'm so over clan alliances, to be honest.
I feel like they're this abstract concept which people talk about, yet no one's really agreed how to implement them. So I think that would take Supercell a while if they were to do so. Especially because I expect it would require a whole rework of the backends, for example, how chats work and how people are assigned to some sort of guild or clan. So while it's nice and it would benefit some clans, it wouldn't benefit possibly the majority of clans. So I'm not sure if that would be up there on the priority list of Supercell. Next one, we have flag/notes visible while scouting. That would be incredibly helpful, as I think a lot of the time I always just click through the bases, not exiting back onto the war map when I'm looking for a base to attack.
There's a lot of things here that Boom Beach does really well. Getting multiple chances at friendly challenges. When you put a friendly challenge up, there's like a little drop down menu and you can see all the different people who've hit it and watch those replays and see how they did. And you can also do it multiple times for yourself as long as it's in chat. And then also having flags and notes visible while you're scouting a base. Boom Beach does that too. It's just a tiny little note button that expands to like a short little same length note that you see in the war base. You can look at it while you're looking at the base too.
Sounds like a good plan. Or a good idea, I should say. And then the final one, at least the final one which we've got on our list here, is a hero wake up potion.
I mean, it would be convenient. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
I mean, a potion, how would that even work? I feel like it's a one-time thing.
Like a potion that if your hero is upgrading, it will wake them up for an hour, so you could do war attacks or do whatever, and then
Oh.
yeah, and
Oh.
then they go back to upgrading later. So like no way in hell that ever happens. They always say like the reason you can't use heroes is not so we can sell hero books. It's so there has to be some kind of trade off to upgrading heroes and being more powerful, which is garbage because it's 100% about selling gems and hero books, and packs and everything else. It's sales.
Yep, absolutely. But is anyone wanting to add something?
Yeah, there was one thing I wanted to add too is that this personally drives me nuts in our clans too. Is when people are doing like clone based attacks, they will want empty CC space in their CC. So they'll say like please don't fill the last two space or don't fill whatever. So they're not accidentally cloning your garbage.
Right.
Then it leaves that open request in chat all day long, and I hate it. So being able to request like nothing or just block off those spaces as not donatable so
Yeah.
you don't have to go through and delete your own stuff before you use it because you're going to forget and you're going to clone basic minions or whatever. And then it doesn't have to annoy 49 other people in clan chat either.
Yeah, solid stuff. Spencer, have you got anything you'd like to add to your? Do you have a nice little quality of life shopping list that you feel something has been missed out on?
No, not really.
Yeah, we can go through the top recruiting requests. So this is a thread Darian posted. I will drop a link to if you're curious. But the number one most upvoted request on there was language filtering too. So if you are an English speaker, ideally it's not going to show you clans that mainly speak a different language. or while you're searching for clans or players, ideally the new recruiting tool would direct you towards players who speak a similar primary language.
Sounds like a sensible change. I mean, I think it's worth like prefacing this whole discussion with the fact that the recruiting tool right now is a really big, not issue, but a really big eyesore for most of the community. And I think Supercell as well. I think no one has ever praised the recruiting system much, especially as it kind of came in as a result of global being removed, and that obviously carried some emotional upsets amongst many people. And also, Supercell isn't happy with it at all. I think Darren has multiple times stated that they really do want to change it. So I think it's reasonable to expect a lot of this hopefully will be implemented, or at least there will be some big overhaul.
We don't know exactly how it works or that it works. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that they have allegedly been fixing and addressing over the years since they removed global and introduced this. If we had better insight into how it worked, we could probably give better feedback on what we want it to do, because like we don't know to what extent it's already doing some of this anyway.
Yeah.
But Spencer had the second most upvoted request on that thread too about clan and player profiles. So do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I've been a clan leader for years, and these have always kind of been in the back of my mind. So I was really excited to see that Darian was asking for people's suggestions. And so I put in 4 suggestions, and the first one was more customizable clan profiles. And that's just basically giving us more characters to type in our profiles, or maybe even a rules tab, just more customization for when people come and they view your clan page, and it could tell you more about the clan rather than just, I don't know the character limit, maybe it's 150, but right now I feel like it's pretty limited for everything that clans want to offer, especially if there's a Discord and alliances, stuff like that. What do you guys think?
I think it's you could maybe more create proper recruitment ads within the game itself, because obviously people do create quite elaborate recruiting posts outside the game, right? Like if you just look in this Discord channel, or sorry, Discord server as an example, people create quite intricate recruiting ads in the recruitment channels. And if you could kind of work something like that into the actual game, maybe let people import an image. I know that would create headaches with content moderation and everything, and possibly could be a pipe dream, but in that sort of fashion, let people advertise their clan in a more enticing way rather than having to really fiddle with all the like how you can use emojis within the description and etc. Because you can do that, but it's just not really intuitive.
Anything that's going to give us more information is better. Things that are like auto assigned based on the actual stats of your account would be cool too, because I can make a Town Hall 3 and call myself a veteran CWL, war hero, whatever. And, as long as it's self-selected too, you're never going to know for sure. But if it automatically assigns those things to my profile based on certain thresholds and, per town hall or whatever, that's a lot more actionable info when you're looking to determine if a player's right to accept in your clan or not.
The last one I typed out on my list, probably the largest change or feature, would be Sam kind of mentioned it a little bit, an ad board or a bulletin board in game where people could post their clan, and it could be updated by region or filtered really easily. And that would be very similar to the recruiting subreddit that is already linked in game.
Yeah, it kind of feels like, and we're going to talk about this in the next section a lot too, but anything that a different service already provides in a much better way, I don't know if it's worth their time chasing that down. So, like I don't know if it's worth their time for them to make a worse version of their recruiting subreddit or a worse version of like Discord recruiting to try and do it in game. But also, it's probably not like them to just throw in the towel too much and say, oh, well, you have other services. That's not really a good corporate answer either.
Yeah, especially because I wouldn't say that the vast majority of Clash of Clans players have, well, not that they don't have access, but are actually aware of all those different services. For example, this Discord server, as great as it may be, has about 100,000 members, maybe just above. And while it's a lot, it's not that much when you think about the entire Clash community. And then obviously the recruit subreddit will have some more people, but I expect there's a lot of crossover between the users of, say, this Discord and that subreddit. So overall, while other services, yes, they do maybe provide a slightly better service, if a lot of people aren't using that service, then I think something, even if it's slightly better, is slightly worse, is better than nothing.
Just the things that it does very, very poorly. It will show you players that have full inboxes, so you can't recruit them anyway, even if you do like them. It will also show you dead clans that are just not very active, that are just because they are recruiting for your town hall doesn't mean it, like a tool should be able to show you if they haven't done a war in 6 months and you can scroll up and see 1,400 days worth of chat messages. Like it shouldn't be showing you those clans either. And then another theme of a lot of these requests too was basically some version of bringing back global. Having like a separate tab of chat just for recruiting where you can talk to each other. Like that's
Right.
just global. Um, and that's never going to happen.
Well, they were recommending global, but with pre-made messages that you choose from.
At that point, I'd much rather go with Spencer's idea of the kind of advertising system.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just spam at that point. Like no one's going to read it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't distinguish yourself, right, with pre-made messages. There is no if say the pre-made message is "Come join my clan," if everyone is saying "Come join my clan," you're not really standing out there.
Do you guys have any other suggestions for a recruiting tool that you would want to see that we didn't already cover?
Uh, I think I covered all the bases pretty well. I think Spencer's comments as well certainly had a lot of features which I might have thought of in part as well. So I think he did a very good job at bringing that all together. So no, I don't think I have anything else to add.
Right. Then I guess one thing I would want to see too is that when you reject someone, I would like to be able to send them a message other than just, they get the little inbox message that says your request to join is
Yeah.
denied. I think being able to type something out would be awesome because especially if you have a clan family too, where you can, like I'm in Trample Damage's clan and he has like 8 clans. So if we get a good looking Town Hall 13 that requests to us, we either have to accept him and then talk to him for a minute, hope he's online, and say, hey, like maybe you should go to a different clan. But if we could just reject and say, hey, search out good guys number 4 because they take Town Hall 13s or whatever, then I don't know, just that's something small that would help recruiting, at least for clans with the families with multiple clans.
Yeah, very good.
But that brings us to yesterday's news. Supercell dropped a big Google Doc survey, which I will link in the show notes here too. But it was specifically requesting feedback on a lot of different ideas they had for changing chat up in game too.
Yeah, should we kind of go through each of the because obviously it wasn't really an open response thing like all these other threads have been. It was a closed response Google Docs. So should we go through all the different things they kind of asked us to rate?
Yeah, sure. There were 13 options too, and they said, "Hey, how excited does this idea make
Yeah.
you? How excited does this idea make you?" And at the end, they said, "Pick your top 3 of those 13 that you want to see the most too." But just real quick through the list, and we can talk about whichever specific one you guys want to. But updating the look of clan chat with not a whole lot of
Yeah,
details there.
sure.
A portrait mode, like a full screen portrait mode for chat. Adding emotes, giving people profile pictures, chat reactions, replies to specifically people that would probably tag them. Also directly tagging people, starting threads, changing the font size, auto translate, new chat tabs, and pinning messages and polls for all of them too. So of those, which ones did you guys mark down as your top 3 at least?
So tagging was a big one for me. I think that'd be incredibly helpful, especially for clans who don't have an organized Discord server set up to go, hey, you need to do your war hits, get the hell on. Threads, I think, would also be incredibly helpful, just in terms of, say say you're sitting in clan chat trying to teach someone an attack, you take up all the clan chat, and if anyone needs to try say something in between you, that isn't happening, right? So if you can just go off into a separate thread, because realistically, no one else particularly cares about your conversation. If they do, they can just have a look at the thread as well. So keeping it kind of contained would be really nice.
No, the tagging was my first one to be able to send people direct notifications. That was huge. Like that's the main reason I think clans need an outside communication app like
Yeah.
Discord now. I mean, through the years, it's there was like Kick and GroupMe and Line and Band and a million other ones. But tagging, being able to directly message people and make sure they get a notification on their phone, log in and do their war hits or whatever. That's the biggest change that chat needs to happen, in my opinion. Then I also said pinned messages would be great. That's another thing Boom Beach does really well because it throws it right in your face. It's kind of redundant with clan mail, but if you pin it in chat, it just shows you directly, and it's there are a ton of people who don't read clan chat or clan mail for some stupid reason.
I mean, they could kind of integrate it, right? They could maybe say when you're sending a clan mail, just have a little tick box saying, "Do you want to pin this message?"
Yeah. That'd be cool. Just some version of like highlighting a short specific message to ensure someone's going to actually open it too, because there are crazy people out there who have 400,000 unread emails, and like I don't understand them. How you can have that little red badge and not immediately click it and check it. It's my brain doesn't allow those things to sit.
I mean, most of my emails are complete junk, so that's why I don't really check them. But yeah,
Kind of similar to you guys. I put tagging in my top 3 and polls and stuff like that. But one thing I do want to mention, specifically for emotes and profile pictures, emotes are already very popular in Clash Royale, and profile pictures I know they already exist in Clash Mini. But when I see those two suggestions, I just think of those are some cosmetics that they'll throw in the past, or that they'll probably sell for a few bucks, and so um, I don't necessarily want to see those type of cosmetics come to the game, especially because profile pictures are probably the least needed thing on that list. They don't necessarily add much of anything to a clan chat.
yeah,
Yeah.
I saw it as kind of unnecessary bloat, right? I think Clash of Clans isn't a messaging app. You don't need a bunch of that kind of crap associated with it, because I think things like especially emojis and reactions, profile pictures are less obtrusive, but things like emotes, or sorry, yeah, not emojis, emotes and reactions, they just clutter the chat and they're inherently spammy. And I just don't think that's a service to a clan chat, which yeah, it's just annoying.
Emotes are consistently called out as one of the most toxic things about Clash Royale.
Yeah.
And it's also something you can disable too, so you won't see them, which is it's nice, but like I don't see a benefit to having it in clan chat. Yeah, I don't know, like reactions I think are okay. You get some thumbs up from people or whatever. I don't know. It's not needed. I think they need to focus on the core issues that drive people out to Discord. Basically, right now is the main one.
Right, yeah.
But just ensuring people see messages and get messages and tagging them and notifications and those kind of things are really what clans who don't have a Discord need the most. So hopefully that's what they focus on, and not turning clan chat into some giant emoji mess.
Yeah, ultimately, Discord isn't going to be replaced, right? Because it does just offer that extra functionality which Clan Chat just can't really offer without being its entire separate service. And at that point, that's Discord, right? Things like all the channels, bots, just the entire, ecosystem of it can't be translated, right? So I think Clash should focus on, like you said, find those main driving features to make sure all players then do have similar access, things like tagging and whatnot. But then also realize that they are not a messaging service. They're not. That isn't the main role, and they don't really need a bunch of crap like emojis, profile pictures, emotes, reactions, all that stuff.
Yeah. Was there anything else you guys wanted to add about chat?
Not really. My main thing is just don't make it too bloated. Don't make it so obtrusive that it's just spammy. That is my main hope for Supercell.
In other Clash news, too, the Chinese Golden Ticket tournament is going on.
Yeah.
We just saw the final, the second to final round, right? And the finals are coming this weekend, are they not?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. I haven't been following after I briefly saw the caliber of attacks. I didn't think it was within my interests to.
Like, I've seen a lot of people saying that they were terrible attacks, and some of them were, but all the highlight reels I saw too weren't really all that bad.
Well,
It's
that's because you saw the
it
highlights.
it was yeah. It was weird though how they're still playing on the last version. They haven't gotten the Town Hall 15 refresh update yet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I assume they'll have that by the time Worlds comes around. But even then, they have had less practice on the new meta. I mean, there's entire troops they don't have right now, and it is weird, right? It's possible, and you could potentially say actually unfair to those Chinese teams.
It does feel like they're kind of being set up to fail,
Mm.
depending on when they get the update too, because for them to compete, obviously in Worlds, they're going to have to play on the same version of the game. Uh, so depending when they get it, how long they have to play with it and get comfortable with it, design new base meta stuff. Like it, I don't know. I was kind of
Yeah.
hoping that they would like have their own cool new tricks that would blow the rest of the world away. But it's really looking like they're just going to be a little behind the times. So
Mm.
if they show up to Worlds and they're the first team out, it's going to be like really kind of Supercell's fault for setting them up to fail. And I know there's a lot of like regulatory stuff why they don't get updates as fast in China and everything too, but Supercell still signed off on this concept of giving China their own world ticket tournament. So it kind of feels they're doing a disservice to those players by just giving them letting them continue to play a separate version of the game. So hopefully they get it soon and can be competitive. Otherwise, it's just like what was the whole point?
Yeah, and I mean, while the topic has gone kind of quiet recently, from what we heard more when this China stuff, the server splits was really coming into force, that the game was basically dying there, essentially. They weren't getting updates, there was no loot, because just aren't, you're cut off from a huge majority of the player base. So, a possible explanation for why some attacks got worse is just there just aren't as many people playing it. JX Tiger who won Worlds in what 2021. They've gone from being the world's winners to now. Oh, look at these Chinese teams. They can't even get the town hall, right? So clearly, those great players either aren't playing at all anymore, or are just completely uninterested in the competitive scene because of what Supercell has done.
Yeah, there's someone's asking why China hasn't gotten the last update yet. It's because a lot of the regulation in China, they didn't like how open communication in clan chat was for the game. There's a lot of cultural differences too. One of the things that was most immediately apparent in watching those attacks was the skeleton spell is green instead of red, and that's there's some cultural stuff there that I don't fully understand, but I know enough to say, oh, it's some cultural stuff with
Yeah,
red and skeletons and etc. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it takes a lot longer to get things approved in China, and there's probably a lot less support. Even though Supercell's owned by Tencent, which you would think they would kind of be able to keep it up to date, but who knows? I don't know. Anyway, it was weird. And just hopefully things are going to be fair when the Worlds comes up. But I guess speaking of Worlds too, we just got news on that this morning.
yeah. So we just got news that basically, half an hour ago, that there would be the four golden ticket qualifiers going ahead to give out the other half of the golden tickets for the World Championship finals. So we don't have exact dates yet, but we do know they'll happen in September, and we do know they'll last 6 weeks. Format seems pretty standard, similar to how they've done it in years past, with teams entering in a knockouts competition, or I think it's a ladder first, then it goes to double elimination, then it goes to a Swiss stage, then another Swiss stage, then double elimination, and then you get the golden tickets. So it's pretty standard stuff to what they've done in the last year. Admittedly, I think a bit later on, but that is because Worlds is a bit later on, so translates nicely. Which clearly shows they're quite happy with the format they had last year and are, I guess, intending to stick with it fairly comfortably in years to come.
Yeah, I haven't heard any complaints about doing 4 community tournaments essentially, and then
Yeah.
a big long tournament like that's open to basically everyone. If you think you're gonna play and you think you actually have a shot, make sure you have a passport. I guess that screwed. Passport and visa issues screwed a qualifying team last year because it's real short notice between the end of that tournament and the beginning of Worlds is going to be. So it's gonna if it's starting early September, we don't know the exact date, and it's gonna last 6 weeks. So mid-October to end of November finals is 6 weeks. So if you're in the U.S., you're not getting passport in 6 weeks. It's not gonna happen. But also, I think most of the people listening to this probably aren't in the situation where realistically they're gonna qualify for Worlds and not have a passport.
Oh, you never know.
If you on the off chance you do think that's you, get your passport now because it's gonna take probably 3-4 months.
Wow, does it take that long?
In the US, yeah.
Yeah.
We got my wife's one earlier this year, and it was like 13 weeks.
So yeah, I think that's all the news for the golden ticket stuff. We're kind of nearing the end of the pod right now. Do you want to quickly talk about the Town Hall 15, how we're finding the meta?
Yeah, too, and I do want to hit all these hit rate stats too.
Okay, yeah, go. We'll at least do that. So maybe not
All
go
right.
into an in-depth
So,
discussion.
yeah, I know there's been the update is the Town Hall 15 update refresh is just over a month old now, right? It was
Yes.
June 12th, the day of the Reddit protest, I think, right? One of the main stated goals of that update was to increase the hit rate for for all kinds of players, and we got a ton of stuff just to increase offensive power and not a whole lot of stuff increasing defensive power. Like, yeah, eagle level, scatter level are like those help you defend. The blimp nerf was kind of big, but overall everyone kind of agrees offense is more powerful too. So there's been a lot of discussion over how much the hit rate is actually going to change. So there's a pretty cool site that we've talked about before for this for talking about attack rates and champs, at least, called clashspot.net. It's awesome too. Itsu had a video out last week where he was saying that like tribes overall hit rate went up 7%. The pro teams overall their hit rate went up 10%. So before the update, it was about like over all the top teams, there was about a 43% hit rate for getting 3 stars, and now that's up to 53%. But obviously, that's like pros. The way I went about finding this out is you can go to ClashSpot and you can look at historical 3-star rates and 2-star and 1-star rates for every different league broken out. It's harder once you start looking at town halls, but if you look at Champs 1 and Champs 2, those are almost exclusively Town Hall 15s, so those stats should be pretty good. The 3-star rate in Champs 1 for July CWL was 30%, and the 2-star rate was 61%. And I also went back to look at June and May, and those are basically the same. Those are both pre-update, and the stats are essentially the same. So in Champs 1, the 3-star rate increased after the update by only 2 to 3%.
Right, which isn't huge, considering when I guess if you think about it as a big offense updates, that isn't a huge meta shift.
Comparing that 3% increase in what I'll call more casual players, I don't know if Champs 1 has a lot of casuals. It's people who are good at the game, obviously. So like, and also like the difference in Champs 1 and Champs 2 is pretty huge too. But again, like it's something we talked about months ago, where Champs 1 seems to have a lot more clans that are full of like Town Hall 9s and stuff, because people will farm up Champs 1 clans and sell them, and then the people who buy them are full of Town Hall 8s, 9s, and 10s, and then they just get slaughtered on their way down. Like every month that we spent in Champs 1, there was at least 1, sometimes 2 of those clans. So the 3-star rate in Champs 1 gets a little inflated. Champs 2 has a lot more clans, so those ones that are dropping their way through are less of an influence on the overall stats. But the Champs 2 3-star rate in July was only 19%.
Wow.
That was still up 3% from previous months. So it went from 16 to 19%. It's not as big of an offense buff for the casual player that a lot of people have been claiming lately.
Yeah. I mean, I still think triples shouldn't be that high because obviously a triple should be something that is actually earned and not just given to you by the game. But I mean, especially for champs, those rates still do seem fairly low.
Obviously, it's going to take the casual player a lot more time to get comfortable with the new troops.
Yeah.
There are people who are still. It's only been a month, so there are people who still don't have max heroes and still don't have all the max troops, and casual players aren't doing FCs constantly, so they're going to be less comfortable with all the new stuff and the emerging metas. So it's going to count for some of that too. I bet if we look in August and in September, that 3-star rate's going to continue to climb, but it's not going to be as stark as it will be for the pro rate. There's some pros that have 70-80% 3-star rates too.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. Like there are some people who just see the game differently and take it to a whole new level. But
Huge.
as far as helping the average player or the more casual player, I don't know that this update has done enough for that yet.
Well, I guess we can maybe dive more into that in the next pod and have a proper discussion about the 10 or 15 meta.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else anyone wants to add?
Yeah, so our July event is called the 99% 1-star challenge, where you try your best to get a 99% 1-star. That's every building except the town hall. So if you do destroy the town hall, your attack is disqualified. We have prizes, gold passes, Discord Nitro, and even 5 golden tickets will be given out. These are not the golden tickets for Clash of Clans esports. These are golden tickets for our events. If you don't know anything about that, I recommend joining the event server so you could participate in the event and see what golden tickets are about.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds like a really cool event. Rick, do you have any shout outs or anything you want to mention?
Yeah, I just want to shout out Spencer here and the rest of the event server team for the amazing job they've done coming up with events and running them over the last year, as well as planning out the entire next year of events and our version of the Golden Ticket Tournament. Many thanks to you guys and Sam, who kind of helps, I guess, but also Liam, Noob, Cart, and also the Discord mods too, Hockey, Anthony, and there's probably more. There's a whole bunch of people helping out, and they all do some pretty great work. So you guys are crushing it. Please keep it up. And anyone who wants to join the server too, again, like almost every week, that link is in the show notes.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who listened to the podcast today. If you want to listen to this again for whatever reason, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you want, and have a listen there. We should be back in 2 weeks ish. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right, yeah. We'll try and get a more regular time going. It's summer, people are off doing stuff, so it's been hard. All right, take it easy, everyone.